I'm Joe LaMonaco. That's Ruth Rowe Campbell, and this is the Truth From Ruth Radio Hour on NewsRadio WHAM 1180.
Joe.
Happy 2026.
Thank you.
First show of the brand new year, and it would be like other people to come in with some softball for the first show of a new year. So yeah, you know what? It's winter. Let's give them something that's easily digestible. Oh no. Miss Ruth reached out to me and said that she had a topic that no one knows about or very few people know about. And I said, oh, really? And she sent me this information. And so what we're going to be talking about tonight is we're going to be talking about something that affects your property taxes, affects your tax bill. Part of it you may have heard about, and part of it I bet you have never heard of before. And Miss Ruth is going to explain to me why in the second half of this show, it is a big secret, and we're going to blow the lid right off of it. Okay. First of all, we want to remind people, Ms. Ruth is not an attorney. Ms. Ruth is a real estate broker, appraiser. She's an auctioneer. She has spent decades in the real estate business. She has seen how this impacts her clients and has impacted her clients over the years. And she wants to share information with you so that you can be empowered. That's really what this is about. We need to share information so that we can empower you to make good decisions for yourself and potentially save yourself a lot of money on that tax bill. All right, Miss Ruth, I want to start off with what people know about. And as a homeowner, I've heard about STAR. You know what? But until you sent me these notes, I never knew what STAR stood for. Can you tell us, at least to start off, what STAR stands for, please?
What does STAR stand for? Good question. STAR stands for School Tax Relief.
Okay.
Isn't that nice?
Yeah, well,
School tax relief.
School tax relief. It's a New York State program that is designed to reduce school taxes for eligible homeowners. You may know that you've also gotten, I got a new bit of paperwork to update my information for STAR this year. I think they're doing, you may have gotten one too. I don't know what's in the works here, but talk to us through sort of, I guess, what the levels are, because there are two.
Yes.
Okay, so let's unpack STAR here.
Yes.
Basic and enhanced. Start with the basic.
The basics is that there are two levels, and everything that we discuss here is open for change. Okay. But we know that there is basic STAR, which is a $30,000 reduction in your assessment that is eligible for every New York State homeowner. And this year, the income limit, you cannot earn over $250,000.
Okay.
That's a lot of money.
Yeah.
That's a huge population. So if we apply correctly, which is really only once you should need to apply, then as long as you live in that home, you will get a $30,000 exemption on your assessment.
Okay. Your eligibility is that must be your primary residence.
Yes.
It's available regardless of age for homeowners. Okay.
Regardless.
And
yes.
as Ms. Ruth mentioned, this is for households with the income generally $250,000 or less. And typically you will have applied for that STAR when you buy your home. Is that usually how this happens?
You have to reach out to the New York State Department of Taxation and Finance.
Okay.
Department of Taxation and Finance in some way. Now, your local assessor, your local town or city officials will be able to help you with that. But it's important for me to say, as a real estate lady, this is important. The lower your assessment, the lower your taxes. Okay. Obviously, we all know that, or we hope we all know that. And that's what we're talking about here. We're talking about your assessment.
Okay. Because that is how the assessed value of your property is how your municipality judges your tax bill.
The higher your assessment,
the higher your bill.
Obviously.
Okay, so registration and verification on this. Homeowners, as Ms. Ruth mentioned, you've got to register through the New York State Department of Taxation and Finance. If you've purchased your home, you've probably done this. Maybe you don't even remember doing it. If you've never seen anything or gotten those STAR rebate checks, you might want to make a little bit of you might want to investigate that a little bit based on your case. Income, you verify using your income tax returns, personal income tax returns.
The state will do that.
do that. You register only once unless ownership changes. You purchase a new home, you sell your home, and homeowners do not need to reapply every year. That's how STAR works. Okay,
yes,
that's basically how STAR works.
There is also a STAR credit program and a STAR exemption program.
Okay, so two different things.
But for the purpose of this conversation, we're just discussing the exemption program.
Okay, just the basic STAR. So that's the basic STAR. Now you may have also heard of enhanced STAR. So before we take our first break, let's talk a little bit about what this and maybe how the program differs or what else it might offer.
Okay, as soon as you turn 65, you contact your local assessor, and as long as you're earning less than $107,300 a year, 1073, as long as you're less than that, you will qualify for up to $86,100 exemption on your assessment.
Okay.
The lower your assessment, the lower your taxes.
Okay. So your eligibility there on that side, at least one homeowner must be 65 years of age or older, and that income limit is a big deal because as more people are working later in life, maybe not necessarily taking Social Security and leaving their jobs, that income requirement, remember, for basic STAR, that income requirement is around $250,000 a year. For the enhanced STAR, it's less than half of that, okay? So your income has to have adjusted significantly at age 65 or older to meet that qualification for the enhanced STAR. But the exemption is substantially more as well. So if your income is much lower, your exemption could be much lower under enhanced.
That is true. Now, it is also important to note that in the past years that I've dealt with this, you had to apply every year as a senior.
Okay.
You had to apply every year. You had to show the town your income. This has all gone to the state now. Now the seniors have to use something called IVP, which is New York State's Income Verification Program. Okay. So the state is going to now verify your income, but you applied every year for your senior exemption.
Okay.
And the deadline, very important, listeners, listen up. The deadline is March 1st.
Oh, so this is coming up. We've got about a little over a month.
The deadline is March 1st to apply for this enhanced exemption. One year, I'll tell you a story. I was real busy. My husband and I were working. He was 65. I was not 65 yet, but he was eligible for the exemption. And I was there on March 2nd.
Oh.
Guess what?
You lose.
I lost.
Yeah.
And that year, I had to pay the full tax.
Okay.
Without the exemption. So the deadline is firm, and the town and New York State are going to hold it to you.
Okay.
If you miss it, you lose.
All right. I got a bunch of follow-up questions. Maybe you do, too. We're going to take our first break, and we're going to throw those all at Miss Ruth Rowe Campbell from Rowe Realty Auctions and Appraisals at digginfordeals.com. Do you have questions? Not only about these programs, Miss Ruth is a great resource. If you go to digginfordeals.com, you can find the contact information for the office. Give a call. Send an email. Miss Ruth would be happy to help you based on your circumstance to tell you where to go, where to make those phone calls, some of the questions you would like to ask or should be asking so that you can wind up. Miss Ruth loves putting more money back in your pocket, okay? And this is all part of it. So if you've got questions, reach out at digginfordeals.com. And when we come back, I've got a whole bunch more to talk about. And then in the second half of our show, we're going to tell you about a program that also is available that most people don't even know about, which could put additional money back into your pocket, especially for our seniors who are low income or fixed incomes on that lower level. This is something that you're definitely going to want to pay attention to. The Truth from Ruth Radio Hour continues next on NewsRadio WHAM 1180. We are back on the Truth from Ruth Radio Hour on NewsRadio WHAM 1180. I'm Joe LaMonaco with Ruth Rowe Campbell from Rowe Realty Auctions and Appraisals at digginfordeals.com. We haven't even mentioned digginfordeals.com is open, and there is a whole lot going on. Miss Ruth has a 40-year history in the real estate game. So at diggingfordeals.com, if you're in the market to sell your property, Miss Ruth is a seller's agent, exclusive seller's agent for real estate. If you are thinking about putting your house on the market, there is a way to do this that you may not have considered before. Go to diggingfordeals.com and see what the team here does to market properties, to get them in front of qualified buyers so that they maximize return for sellers and make the process almost completely transparent and seamless. Go check it out right now, because auctioneering is not just for collections and collectibles and for cars and heavy equipment and office furniture, and there's all sorts of things that are up there. But in the real estate market, it can be incredibly beneficial for you to investigate using an auction platform to sell a piece of property, whether it's a home, whether it's a business, whether it's an apartment complex. Miss Ruth has done it all. Check it out at diggingfordeals.com, because we are talking about saving money for homeowners and saving money on that tax bill. We've started off our conversation, and we're going to continue on here with the New York State Star exemptions. Just to recap, in case you're just joining us, there are two different kinds. The basic star, which many of us wind up with, it does have, it's one of those things there. You probably signed up for it. Maybe you did when you purchased your house. Maybe you didn't.
Maybe you're not sure.
Maybe you're not sure. If people are not sure whether they have done it or not, what's the easiest way for them to do it?
Their assessor.
Their town assessor.
Find out. The assessor is your friend.
You know, that is a different conversation than we have many times about assessors.
That is true.
Sometimes we have conversations about assessors saying, they're come to jack up my assessment because they're going to want to raise my tax bill in the town as a money grab.
Everybody wants to yell at their assessor,
Absolutely.
but that is not the appropriate.
Make your assessor your friend.
Yes.
And call the assessor. And they can very quickly check the rolls to see if you have an application on file.
They will help you.
Okay.
They have all the forms. They have all the database. They have the resources. And they have the influence.
Oh, okay.
And if you don't like to talk to your assessor, there is a supervisor of your town or your city. There is also your New York State Assembly person and your New York State senators.
Get to know all of them.
Get to know all of them, because the truth can save you money.
And in this case, we're talking quite substantially. This can save you money,
thousands of dollars,
especially for those who qualify for the enhanced star. Now, basic star, just to recap here, you have to have a household income, generally $250,000 or less. It is available regardless of age. And
you have to apply for it.
You have to apply for it, and the home that you're applying for it must be the primary residence. And the basic star would reduce the first $30,000 of the full value of your home for the purposes of school taxes. It almost seems like, well, we know that the school district maybe has gone a little high in their tax rate, so we're just going to pull that back. It's like a pre-made discount or something like
that.
Correct. It can seem maybe like a little bit of a shell game.
It makes you feel good.
Okay.
That's nice.
All right, well, that's kind of nice. Then you've got your enhanced star, which, again, this is for at least one homeowner being 65 years of age or older. The income limits, though, are significantly lower from basic star. Enhanced star, generally about $107,000 a year
Correct.
Or less.
Yes.
But the enhanced star can reduce the full assessed value of the home up to a little over $86,000.
Correct.
In real dollar amounts, Miss Ruth, in what you have seen, I mean, what can that really put back into somebody's pocket, sort of on average?
Thousands.
I mean, really?
Yes.
It can be that substantial?
Yes, absolutely. We're talking big numbers here.
Okay.
And if you look at a tax bill, a full value tax bill without any exemptions in New York State, oh my gosh, you're going to go into sticker shock. So we need to know, and we need to be able to use these exemptions.
And you need to be proactive. If you are unsure, ask the question. At least make the call and ask the question. Now, for most people, I believe that I get a check back from the State Department of taxation finance. That's how I get my star rebate. It doesn't automatically apply to my tax bill, I don't think.
That must be the credit program.
Maybe that's the credit program. I'll have to go back and look at it again, because sometimes I get a check, sometimes not. I don't necessarily pay as close attention as I should. So I'm very grateful that I have this information in front of me that we are talking about it. But really, think about or go back into your tax records and see if you're finding the star on your... Where will they find it? The school tax bill, the county tax bill? Where are they going to find that?
Well, for enhanced star, it should be star, enhanced star, or basic star are all school tax.
School tax. So look at that school tax bill.
Exclusively.
Okay.
Okay. Now, for basic star, if you have a mortgage, you might not pay your taxes, like a senior does.
Okay.
Who does not have a mortgage. And it is even harder to know. So that's the reason you do want to reach out to your assessor. And once a year, doesn't hurt. Just check with the town. Make sure they tell you, yes, you are on our exemption rules.
That's a good thing and a good point to mention. With so many of us who hold mortgages, with tax bills being paid out of escrow, we're not writing those checks and taking them to town hall every year.
Exactly.
So maybe we're not paying as close attention to those bills, or maybe we hand everything over to our accountants and say, just deal with all of this. But look at that itemized receipt that you get if you are paying out of escrow, and see if that star exemption or that star benefit is applying to your tax bill. And if it's not, there is no retroactive here, though. If you've missed out, you've missed out, but you can always take care of it going forward. Is that how it works?
It's January. It is time to call your local assessor and just touch base and find out if you are receiving the New York State exemptions that we're entitled to.
And the application process is fairly simple and straightforward.
It won't hurt.
Okay.
I promise. It won't hurt.
And that's the truth from Ruth.
And
it
that
won't hurt.
is the truth from Ruth.
So just so people maybe can have a little bit of an idea from what you know about it, what sort of documentation are they going to need to collect on their own that the town maybe wouldn't have access to electronically? Do they have to bring anything with them in order to do that?
I'm certain with New York State there is an application. I know we have it.
There's an application for everything.
There's an application for everything. And you need to know, obviously, where you live, what your name is, what your social numbers are, all the basic information. And the town is just there, or the state is just there to verify that you are a primary homeowner.
Okay.
In other words, you live in this house.
That is your primary residence.
That is your primary residence.
Right.
And you know that other one in Florida? Okay. And the South Carolina home? No.
Okay. And so, again, that's a good point of clarity. This is for primary residence only. If you perchance own rental property, this does not apply to anything that you use maybe as an income property.
Absolutely not.
Okay.
Full value.
Full value. And know who your town assessor is. This would be a good thing for you to learn, actually. If you don't know about your municipality and the people that move the levers of government in your neighborhood, that is a great place for you to start to get to know who they are, how to get in contact with them, and be nice to your assessor, as Ms. Ruth said. They are your friend.
Be very nice. They are your friend. But we pay these people.
So get your money's worth.
We pay them. They do not pay us.
Okay.
We pay them.
All right. You've probably heard about STAR. In the second half of our show, have you heard about Real Property Tax Law 467? I bet you haven't. Ms. Ruth is going to tell us about it, what it does, why it's so secret, and what it could potentially put back into your pocket, especially for some of our senior listeners. You'll want to pay attention when the Truth from Ruth Radio Hour continues next on NewsRadio WHAM 1180. This is the second half of the Truth from Ruth Radio Hour, first one of 2026 on NewsRadio WHAM 1180, and we don't do any softballs on this program. Ms. Ruth brought us a great topic this time around. I should mention, head over to digginfordeals.com if you want to reach out to anyone at the team at Diggin' for Deals. If you've got questions about this program that we're doing, if you are in the market to put your house on the market, you could explore an auction platform to do it. Yes, there are collections. Yes, there are equipment. Yes, there are other things that happen with Digging for Deals, but Miss Ruth has the real estate background, 4 decades worth of it, and has combined that with her auction experience to return more money for her sellers. She loves delivering checks.
Yes.
If you're putting your house on the market this year, you need to explore how an auction platform can help you. So check it all out at diggingfordeals.com. We want to remind people that we are sharing some taxation and potentially some legal information on this program. Ms. Ruth is not an attorney. She is a real estate broker, appraiser, and auctioneer. All information is deemed reliable but not guaranteed. Please consult your municipality for how it applies to your situation specifically, because we are going to be talking about something that's maybe going to blow your brain a bit and blow the lid off of this thing. I have never heard of a program called Real Property Tax Law 467. And Ms. Ruth tells me that it is a big secret and it is kept secret. Please, Ms. Ruth, let us get that secret out into the light and tell us what this is, please, because we got to start with just some basic information about what 467 is.
I just love talking to my listeners about Real Property Tax Law 467 because it is a law that was designed to protect seniors from rising taxes and to help you remain in your home. Now, what's so wrong about that? Sounds pretty good to me.
Sounds pretty good to me.
New York State made a law called 467, which authorizes your local government and your local school district to grant a partial property tax exemption, sometimes up to 50%, if you are a low-income senior living in your own home.
This is not STAR.
Correct.
I want to repeat that, and we're going to repeat that many times throughout this part. This is a separate program that can be used in addition to STAR, correct?
On top of
STAR for our low-income seniors. Just to repeat, this is Real Property Tax Law 467 that authorizes local governments and school districts in New York State to grant partial property tax exemptions to low-income senior citizens who are residing in their own homes, essentially to allow seniors who can sometimes be priced out of keeping in their homes, especially in higher tax neighborhoods, to be able to find relief to lower their bill. Let's talk nuts and bolts here. Age requirements. What do you got to be?
Before I talk about age requirements, just give me a minute here. Mm-hmm. We know our real estate values have skyrocketed.
Correct.
Everyone is aware of that. And if you are a senior, low income, living on pension, living on Social Security, and your assessment has ballooned, this program can slash your assessment. Now, when I say senior, I'm talking 65 years or older.
Okay.
Okay? You need to apply for this program by March 1st every year.
As opposed to the STAR Basic, which is a one-time only. Like the STAR Enhanced, I believe you have to do that yearly. Is that a yearly thing? This is also a yearly thing.
Anything with seniors is yearly. Now, Don't get your STAR confused with your 467.
Two separate programs here. Okay?
Exactly.
So we are diving in on the 467 rules. Okay, you must file, and you file it with your local assessor. Again, get to know your local government.
Get to know your local assessor. If you cannot file it, or the paperwork is too much of a hassle for you, find a representative who can help you.
We've talked in the past about trusted friends from church, neighbors, family members, people who can assist you with paperwork to be able to do that. The forms can often seem overwhelming, daunting, and be complicated.
They're not.
They are not. But sometimes it does take someone else's eyes to help you understand it. Seek that out once you have done that. You do have a deadline coming up. March 1st, annually, is the deadline for 467. Confirm that with your local assessor's office.
Yes.
Start with town hall's main number and
Yes.
ask for the assessor's office if you don't have a direct way in.
Confirm.
But again, we also just want to remind you that 467 is rarely talked about. I've never heard about it until Miss Ruth brought me this topic. And so this is not an automatic thing. This is not something that is just going to be given to you or you're going to be told about. You've actually got to go and look for it and ask the questions.
Now, let me carry the ball for a minute here.
Okay.
Because the listeners need to know that not every town, county, village, or school district in New York State offers this.
All right. That's very important.
Okay. Now,
this is not an across-the-board rule.
Let's just say you're in a town, county, school district, or village that does not offer this, and you are a low-income senior living in your home. You may want to find out why it's not offered, and that is a conversation that you need to start, first of all, with your elected town, county officials.
Town council, town supervisor's office. If you don't know how to get in touch with them, get friendly with your town clerk because they know where all the levers are.
Yes.
They are great people to get to know, and in their town halls, they are easy. They're pretty easy to find. All right, that's a very important thing. Not every municipality offers this. That is question number one you need to ask, starting with your assessor's office. Do we offer in this town where I pay my taxes, do we offer Rule 467 here? That's question number one. If no, continue.
Why not?
Why not? Ask that question. Why do you not offer it?
Why do you not?
If they can't give you a good answer in that office, go on to your town board. Go to a public meeting.
State or assemblyman. New York State.
Move it up the chain
Correct.
if you need to. Ask them why they chose not to adopt this particular rule to help low-income seniors.
Exactly. Yes.
And you may uncover some very interesting information. Or again, see, Miss Ruth says that there's a reason that this was kept secret because you might not make some people happy if you go around asking these questions sometimes.
However, in fairness, there are lots of municipalities that do offer it.
Right.
There are. We've taken advantage of it with my own family members.
Okay.
So it is out there and it is available.
Each municipality will have its own rules because each one can adopt or choose not to. Each municipality will set its own income limits. What do we know typically about where that income, if we're talking low-income seniors, what do we mean?
It's a range.
Okay.
The income ranges as low as $25,000 to $60,000.
So
now, let me look at this.
Okay.
A City of Rochester senior citizen, low income, can have an income of up to $58,400. That's a lot of money for a low income senior living in the city right now. Mm-hmm. And they can get a substantial reduction in their up to 50% reduction in their assessed value. Remember, the lower your assessed value, the lower your taxes.
And 467 can be used in conjunction with the enhanced star discount for people age 65 and older. If you are in an income level that would qualify you for 467, you are well within the limits that will qualify you for enhanced star. You should be applying for and receiving both if you are able to. Star has a larger coverage area. 467 available by municipality. Check with your municipality or with the city to find out if it is offered in your area. Start asking the questions, okay? Again, you've probably never heard of 467. And if you are on the lower end of the income level, where maybe Social Security is the only income you have coming in, and staying in your home is dependent on being able to pay that tax bill every year, or one of the big parts of it is about paying that tax bill, you can put a substantial, thousands potentially, back into your yearly budget by just starting to ask some questions. We are up against our last break. We got to take it because we have more to do. 467, real property tax savings for you. Ruth Rowe Campbell is your resource at digginfordeals.com. Miss anything? Want clarification on what we're talking about on this show? Because we're doing kind of high-level stuff here. Reach out at digginfordeals.com. The office would be happy to have a conversation with you to help direct you in the right way to start answering those questions based on where you live and your particular circumstance. All right? Miss Ruth loves to put money back into her clients' and friends' pockets, so she's going to try to help you do that by telling you about this program, which many people don't know about. All right, final break. Coming back to wrap things up on this edition of the Truth from Ruth Radio Hour next on News Radio WHAM 1180. Back to wrap things up on the Truth from Ruth Radio Hour on News Radio WHAM 1180. Joe LaMonaco with Ruth Rowe Campbell from Rowe Realty Auctions and Appraisals at digginfordeals.com. We're going to get right back into it because we have been talking in this program about the STAR School Tax Relief Program. You may have heard about that. You may actually receive that right now. But we've been spending the last part of this show talking about Real Property Tax Law 467, which you probably have never heard about, which can significantly impact our low-income seniors to let them stay in their primary residences if property taxes, school and property taxes are prohibitive. If paying those bills can be the difference between staying in that home and having to leave that home.
And the assessments have gone up.
And so your tax bills have gone up. Now, Ms. Ruth, I want you to point out something that's very important. In the STAR exemptions and the STAR benefits, those apply to school tax bills. Only. The difference in 467 is?
Everything.
All your tax burdens.
It could affect all across the board your taxes, depending on the municipality. You would go to the town and county. They would take your application. It would impact your assessed town and county school or tax bill. It would impact your school district as long as the school district has authorized it.
Okay.
But that's a big gulp, that school tax.
Yeah.
It could also impact village tax across the board, and it is all with that one person in the assessor's office, your friendly local assessor.
Start with the assessor and just start asking some questions. If you don't have good answers, if you don't know whether your municipality participates, if you meet so we're going to kind of run down the punch list here so to let you know what qualifies for what. This is a potential that this can be layered, 467 can be layered on top of STAR. And with the reductions that are available to you, should they be in your municipality, we're talking thousands of dollars potentially across your tax bill. School taxes, real estate taxes can be potentially affected for our seniors that really do live on that shoestring budget. And sometimes that tax bill can be the tipping point.
Daunting.
That could potentially have to make them move out of a home that they're not ready to move out of or have no reason to.
They can stay in their home. What's wrong with that?
Let's just look at it at a glance as we're wrapping things up.
Thank you.
All right. The big difference is at a glance, enhanced STAR, because we are talking about our lower income seniors right now.
Correct.
So that's who
65
and older. Let's talk about the differences between enhanced STAR and real estate property tax law 467.
Yes. Enhanced. Yes, RPTL 467. Yes.
Okay, age 65 plus. It applies to people 65 years and older. Income restrictions.
Yes, okay. Both are restricted, but enhanced is substantially higher income.
Enhanced, about $107,000 or less in income. One person in the household needs to be 65 years of age or older. For property tax 467,
it varies.
But the average range, say in the mid-20s to around $60,000
correct.
Per year. Does it reduce your town and county taxes? Enhanced STAR.
No.
Okay. Enhanced STAR for school taxes only. 467.
Yes. Across the board.
Can reduce your school taxes and real property taxes across the board. Is enrollment automatic?
No.
For both. You need to enroll yearly for both Enhanced Star and for 467. Start with your assessor's office. Local filing required.
In the olden days, yes,
okay.
But nowadays, no. Call your local assessor.
So you would potentially have to, for Enhanced Star, bounce up to the state
New York
level.
State Department of Taxation and Finance.
But for 467, is that all handled on the local level? Okay.
All local.
And the reason that is because by municipalities and by school district, they have the ability to decide whether they will participate in this program or not.
Correct.
It is 467 can save people substantial money if it is available, but it is not across the board. Check with your municipality to see if it's available, because you may have been missing out on something. And this is the big one. Widely advertised STAR program.
Yes.
We all know what STAR is, or at least we've heard it, and even if you didn't know what STAR stood for until today. 467.
No.
Why do they keep it such a secret, Ms. Ruth?
I'm not sure.
Why do you think?
We're going to blow the lid off of it.
Okay. So, bottom line here is we threw an awful lot of numbers at you. We threw an awful lot of information at you. But just to kind of land the plane here to recap what we've been talking about, if you are a homeowner, chances are you've heard of STAR. Check your tax bill or your receipt if you pay out a mortgage out of escrow, because you're not writing that check every year to your town officer. So make sure it's on there. Make sure that you can see it, because it should be clearly marked that you're getting this. If you're not seeing it, go ask someone why not, and start getting the money back that you are entitled to this. This is a program that is designed for you. Go and look for it, okay? Make sure that you meet the income requirements for Basic Star or Enhanced Star, but it should be showing up on those receipts that you have. If you are 65, or at least one person in your household is 65 years of age or older, and you meet the income requirement for Enhanced Star, you need to apply for that yearly. Talk to your town assessor. If you're not getting it, find out why. Get the information. Then, while you're having that conversation with your assessor's office, ask them about Real Estate Property Tax Law 467. Because you probably haven't gotten a good answer or even known to ask that question.
Here's the one simple question you need. Has my municipality adopted the senior citizen exemption under the Real Property Tax Law 467? One question.
That's the truth from Ruth. And if they haven't, you can also ask them why not.
Why not?
As well. Okay, like we said, we threw so much information at you in this program. Ruth Rowe Campbell and her team at Rowe Realty Auctions and Appraisals at digginfordeals.com understand that you may have questions that are specific to your situation. Do not hesitate to reach out via email, via phone, call. Miss Ruth has 4 phones and 5 hands, and she'll throw them all up to her ears at the same time. But just reach out, ask, do you need some help? Do you need some guidance? Do you just want to have somebody answer a question? Start here with the team. Send them an email. Go to digginfordeals.com. All the contact information is there. They would be happy to help guide you in that direction. And don't hesitate to ask questions of your town government either. Most people don't pay much attention to town government. I think it's a very narrow window of people, but if there's some benefit that can potentially happen to you, start paying a little bit more attention and get to know the people that are elected to serve your community.
We pay them.
Get what you are paying for at the end, because Miss Ruth wants to put more money in your pocket, and especially for seniors who may have to make that tough decision about staying in their home or leaving because of financial burden. And taxes are high, with high assessments, with the way the property values have gone and the way market conditions are with homes right now, and the way many towns have gone through reassessments recently, and we've talked about that on a past show. This can be a way to help you stay where you are and keep more money in your budget so you can live the life you choose.
And this is what it was designed for.
All right. Ms. Ruth, thank you so much for bringing us this topic.
Welcome.
I don't know how we're going to follow this up next month, but Ms. Ruth will be back for another visit with us in February. Until then, you can always find her and the team at diggin4deals.com. I'm Joe LaMonaco. Thanks for spending time with us here on the Truth from Ruth Radio Hour on News Radio WHAM 1180.